So I'll just jump right into it. My role with the association is the association resource manager. And so I do a lot of the coordination of administrative work on the association's behalf. Maybe that sounds boring, but my work gets to be quite interesting around particular times of the year, one of which is coming up. So we have our elections starting next week. What that is there are several positions on our board of directors available for students to take part in. It's a very wide-ranging set of experiences that you could participate in. So to give you some highlights that I think are really important, we have an Environment and Sustainability Commissioner position if you're interested in environmental issues. We have Ethical Standards, which is typically a position that deals in like fair trade issues and other ethical considerations around the university. So, you know, where the university is sourcing some of the things that it's purchasing, what kind of initiatives is it undertaking to support students and student rights and whatnot. And going on from there, there are several other opportunities. We have various other constituency representatives. You know, if you're a mature student looking to advocate for issues there, if you're a part-time student and you know you're curious about what the university is doing to support that cohort. We also have two first-year student commissioner positions, one of which is for off-residence students and one of which is for on-residence students. Now, overall, the association is a non-for-profit corporation. So by being elected, you're actually gaining experience in the community of Trent University for an organization that represents student interests. You get a lot of really diverse and important connections in the community as a result of that. You also do a lot of very important work for the student body at large. We, as an organization, provide a lot of different services to the Trent community, so transit, health and dental benefits for students. We have significant representation on a lot of the governance bodies of the university, so the Senate, as well as other advisory committees. And it really gives you an opportunity to get to know the Trent community in what happens behind the scenes. So you can really make a difference in the lives of your peers. Year to year, those initiatives vary, but they are quite meaningful and impactful. So to give you an example, I'd actually like to speak about last year's Student Health and Wellness Commissioner, Ethel Nalule. So Ethel was elected as VP Student Health and Wellness for the 2019-2020 academic year. And as part of her portfolio, she was concerned primarily with wellness initiatives on campus. She ran several very successful events. Decolonizing Therapy was one, and it was talking about the needs of inclusiveness and BIPOC students in therapy. It was really well attended by a lot of our membership. And she also started a accessibility program for students at Trent where we actually got accessibility equipment in the TCSA office for students to use just around campus. They could rent it out and it was there for them. And those are just two examples. Other roles, that role is actually up for election. So if you want to be working for the TCSA this year, I would highly suggest running for that. But then a lot of the other roles are on a volunteer basis, but they're no less engaged and they all do really meaningful, incredible work. So yeah, that's really my best effort at describing to you what the association can do, and you get a lot of experience if you participate in our board of directors. If you're interested in business and stuff like that, there is a side to it for the association there as well. You know, we are regularly talking about budgets and supporting various initiatives in terms of the finances. And then if you're interested in university governance, well, same goes there. The internal committees that the association appoints representatives to can be quite interesting, and you get experience with various administrators across Trent. So yeah, I can't speak more highly of the organization than that. But is there time for questions or anything like that, Juliana?
100%, yeah. And I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. So this is like for the students that are attending this seminar right now, this is an incredible experience for you to be able to get some real world experience, but within such a smaller sort of community, so that you are going through the motions of what it's like to run an election, or, you know, be a candidate. And, when you're a member of the TCSA in that capacity, it does, Matt was talking about, it does really put you sort of like front and center in terms of having conversations with administrators who are making decisions about how the university is going to move forward. And for students to be a part of that, it's just an incredible opportunity. We do have a question here.
Sure.
Yep. So is there any volunteer opportunity except of the boarder position?
Well, that's a good question. I will say there's actually one right now. Now, these are more infrequent, but our Organizational Review and Development Committee is seeking an independent representative. And so to be appointed to that committee, we're just asking students, to submit applications to our president, Amagilla McKelvey. You can reach her at president@trentcentral.ca. And it's just a quick letter describing why you'd like to be part of the Organizational Review and Development Committee and what skills and experience you're trying to bring to the table. So I definitely would encourage people to reach out about that. You know, as the year goes on, there will be other opportunities to participate in student life. The association does support a lot of different student clubs and groups around Trent. So the events that we sponsor and fund pretty much every club and group at Trent if they submit an application for that. So, you know, it's not as direct, and we don't necessarily, we're not there for everything. It might be that the chess club is meeting, or that the debate society wants to have something take place, but we will fund it. And by participating in that, you know, you're enhancing the quality of the student experience at Trent. So I definitely advise people to look around. There is a list about clubs and groups on our website where you can get some of those volunteer experiences and start to know what's out there. There are also several community organizations, levy groups, that do really great work in the community that you can find out about on our website too. So that's www.trentcentral.ca. And I can help you narrow it down if there are specific interests you'd like a bit more information on.
We could just back up for a second, because I feel like there's a lot of students here that are really interested in getting a part of what you're saying, but you know,
For sure.
a lot of things that we run into even in our offices, oh, I don't have a lot of experience, or how do I make my resume or my application look really good when I'm maybe not coming from a place where I've even had a job or any other volunteer opportunities. So can you talk a bit about things that students, you know, need to highlight, or because people are coming from a place of like, oh, you know, there's this catch-22 of, well, I need experience to get experience, but to get experience, I need experience. So it's like this cycle. So any advice you can give these students on how to sort of break into those opportunities that the TCSA is offering would be great. And even
Absolutely.
Totally, Matt, you can tell your story, which would be great.
So yeah, that's a fair one. I know Juliana. I've known Juliana for several years. But I guess I'll give a bit of a highlight. The first thing I'll say is putting yourself out there is the number one most important thing. If you don't try to see what those experiences are like, and it might very well be that you don't like them, and in which case you can withdraw. I can remember in my first year of Trent, I think I went to, I am a Trent grad, by the way. I went to try out for the fencing team. And very quickly, I realized I didn't very much like getting poked by a metal sword. I wasn't that good at it. So I didn't continue with that. But several years later, I actually found rowing as a sport that I quite liked. Oh, wrong side. There we go. There's some paddles here. And I started to get engaged in the Trent community through the rowing team until I graduated and moved on, and have since gone on to work here. Now I'm just generally invested in student experience, and again, building that student community, I think, recognizing the potential it holds. So number one thing is put yourself out there. Second most important thing is that engagement piece. So you are at all times responsible for your level of engagement and the extent to which you want to undertake stuff. You know, it really is a choose your own adventure type situation at Trent. The degree to which you get involved is your discretion. And so what I tend to see is we don't want to overextend ourselves. You know, we're all here, we're all students. We want to be putting some of those initiatives first. There's also the argument for, you know, that student experience is supposed to be a fun one and it's a social one. So you want to have that as well. And those are important balances to keep in mind if you're going to be doing volunteering work. But I can say, by putting yourself out there and becoming involved in community, in any community, you're enhancing that experience so much more because you're actually trying to get involved with some specific issues, and that experience and learning how to deal with those specific issues that reflect your interests. That's where that personal development happens, and that's really, really valuable.
Is do what you love, right?
Do
And then
what you love. Yeah.
you'll be very successful. And just you know, to the students, that, you know, if you're looking to put together an application and, you know, you're ready to put yourself out there, but you're not quite sure what to highlight, the experiences you've had thus far, please feel free to visit our office at Careerspace. You can do online appointments with our career counselor, as well as our resume and interview expert. And they can help you put together a wonderful application. They're really, really good at both talking to you and pulling out all the wonderful things that you've done, because, you know, I know you're sitting there going, well, I haven't really done anything, but you really have. You really, in order to get to where you are right now, you've done some wonderful things. And so being able to sit down and have a conversation with somebody to pull those out and then to put it in a really lovely format, please feel free to access those resources at Careerspace.
Can I talk a little bit about the nomination process for elections, if that's all right?
I think that would be great, because I think
Okay.
that's sort of like a, you know, that's something that people they know about, but they don't really understand the process. And I think that would
100%.
be for those students who are interested in sort of the governance of the university, student government.
For sure. I'm just going to show you the association's website. Can everybody see that? So you'll see over here, there is a Get Involved tab. And right there is elections. We also have some mention for vendor sponsorship that we are having some difficulty maintaining due to COVID. And then whenever we have hiring take place, because we do hire students to work for the TCSA in the office and for various responsibilities. Unfortunately, there aren't any now, but elections is a way to get that experience with the association and get to know what's taking place and what our other opportunities are available on campus. So I'm just going to click through. Now, okay, bit of a description. It describes the positions that are actually available this year. And then we haven't updated this quite yet. Like I said, everything starts next week. So on the 21st of September, you're going to be able to find elections documents, which informs your nomination process, descriptions of the various positions of the board, and you can actually look back and see what different statistics and results of previous elections were last year. Now, if you have any questions about elections, please reach out to TCSA elections@trentu.ca. If you just want to be provided with the nominations documents, for example, you can send us an email and I will send them off to you as soon as they are available. What we are asking for of students, and it'll be reflected on the information that's posted to this web page, what we are asking for is each student who wants to run in our elections, simply send us their platform, a headshot, and fill out all other requirements of the nomination package, and it's mostly just student information. So in previous years, what we would do for our nomination process is when everything was in person, we would go around and ask students to submit their nomination by getting people to endorse them. So students would come in and they'd have 50 signatures on a page and they'd be like, all right, I want to be this commissioner. I want to be a candidate to be elected to this role. And we'd verify those signatures, and what we very quickly realized is in COVID, that's not the most effective way of getting candidates. So this year, we're moving our electoral processes out of respect for COVID entirely online. Again, nomination packages can be submitted that way. I just need it in an email. And then the events that the association hosts for elections, we'll introduce you as candidates to the Trent community through our Instagram page. And we're actually going to do a candidate Q&A session, kind of much like this one, where the membership of the association can get some direct exposure to you, ask you some potentially pointed questions to see where you stand on various student issues, and just get a better feel for you as a candidate. So that's elections in a nutshell. Like I said, please tune in next week on our website and look for that. You can also email tcsaelections@trentu.ca if you want more information in the meantime. And I'm pretty prompt on that account, so you'll have a response in a day or two, but probably within the hour once elections actually start.
That's so great, Matt. And anybody that's attending, I'm sure that if you reach out to Matt directly with any questions about anything to do with TCSA, student government, as Matt said, he's been around for quite a bit, so he's got a really good inside scoop into what's happening at Trent, and then how you can get involved. So please feel free to reach out to Matt directly with any of that stuff.
One thing I'll conclude with, I will also try to put you in touch with our student leaders if you have a direct advocacy issue. They love to hear from students, they love to get feedback, and they love talking about student issues. So I can refer you off to one of our many student leaders in the office here, and you can have some follow-up conversations and get to know the association at a more personal level, I think. Yeah, I've mostly just talked about the professional elements, but we are real people and we are here to support our students. So yeah.
That's wonderful. And I think, with anything, students just, especially our first years, having like a lifeline somewhere where they can reach out and chat
100%.
about, any struggles they're having or anything that they're thinking about, or, I just think that that's really, really important. So the TCSA is definitely an organization that is here. It's student first, it's student focused, and it's here to support all of you in attendance. So with that, I want to thank Matt very much for taking the time to talk about the great work the TCSA is doing and how people can get involved in a volunteer capacity, and on also going through this student government process, because it's extensive and it seems a bit complex, but at the same time, you did a wonderful job letting people know that it is accessible, and anybody can really, once they put themselves out there, they can really be a part of something, which is so nice.
It is, yeah.
So thank you, Matt, so much. And everybody in attendance, thank you very, very much. Make sure you look at the schedule for the rest of the day. There's some amazing organizations with some really, really dedicated people that are doing some wonderful work in our community and would love to host some Trent students in a volunteer capacity. So make sure you check that out. And thanks again. And Matt, thank you again.
Pleasure to be here. Have a good day.
Bye, everybody.